leaders, it's the Leaders Coach, and I am back with your Tuesday tip. The tip for today is new students, new needs, new processes. You have new students who may have new needs, so you may need to put some new processes in place. I am so excited about your tip for today. It's really a no-brainer, but it's an awesome reminder for leaders. The first step is to make sure you identify your students with needs. You need to know who your EIP students are, your Early Intervention Program students, your REP students, your Remedial Education Program students in Georgia, your students with disabilities, your gifted students, your ELLs or English language learners, and in some states LEP, limited English proficient students. And also you need to have your 504 students coded correctly. So identify those students right away and any other subgroup that you may have or any other special students that you may have in your state. It's really important to get those students identified. As a matter of fact, you may have a data room that is a room that stays locked, and it could be something that is locked and kept by the guidance counselor or your data clerk. But it would be ideal if you had a place where you could have a chart with all of those students identified by program, first, last name, and grade level, so that every time you meet as an administrative team, as leaders, that you will see those students and they will always be in the forefront of the work that you do every day. Number 2, identify who is responsible for making sure those students are coded correctly. You need to make sure that the student information system carried over those students from the previous year, or that the new students that you get in have been coded correctly. I know that we have those hard copies of the permanent records, but hopefully the student information systems have been so updated that when you bring the students over in the system, that their information comes with them, so you don't have to wait until you get that permanent record. It's so important that teachers get that information as early as possible. So who is responsible for making sure that those students are coded correctly and have been updated in your student information systems? It needs to be, of course, your data clerk, but also a certified person such as a guidance counselor, and then an assistant principal needs to be overseeing that, so that the assistant principal can report that information to the principal. You've got to have those processes in place so that you can monitor the progress of those students all year long. The third thing is, who is responsible for running those reports and getting those lists of students to the appropriate teachers? It's so important for teachers to have that data ASAP. I have some teachers who are in my Unleash the Leader group, and they are already beginning to work on their data notebooks. How ideal would it be for them to know who their students with disabilities are, know who their 504 students are at the beginning of the year, so they can start the interventions immediately. They're ready to get that data and that information so they can begin to work on their data notebooks. Finally, who is responsible for checking teacher certification? FTE or full-time equivalent weights often require you to have certification for some of those identified students. For example, if a teacher has the gifted endorsement or gifted certification and he or she teaches gifted students, then the school would get the maximum weight according to some other grouping and number statistics. So you need to know who those students are, who the teachers are with the certification, so the person responsible for putting the students in those classrooms will know which teachers have the certification. Also, whatever those number regulations are, to make sure that you're meeting those requirements in your schedules. So for instance, if there is an EIP class and it's self-contained, I think that there's certain numbers of students that are required to be in that class. So there's a minimum number of EIP students and a maximum number of EIP students in order for you to get the highest weight and the funding for those classes. So I hope that this has been a great tip for you all. You have new students. Those students have new needs, and so you may need to put some new processes in place so that you can have a smooth year. Let me know when you get this done. I love to hear from you all. Thanks so much for dropping your comments below, and have an amazing year. This is the Leaders Coach.